It took a couple times for me to decide to go. I heard the radio promo a couple times, well, more than a couple times. And finally I decided, well, I'm going to check that out. So first I went online, because that's kind of what I do. I check things out online. And I read about Fit for the King, and I read about the different people that were going to be speaking at the conference. And reading about the Fit for a King really sold me, because it was an answer to a prayer of mine. I had reached a point in my life where I was really to the point where I was just going to resign myself to the fact that I'm just going to be overweight for the rest of my life and nothing was going to change. And because I had done the weight loss thing, I know what to do, but I didn't have the motivation to do it. Or I should say the old motivations didn't work. The fitting into a certain outfit, or looking good, or that kind of thing. So I was praying for a biblical perspective on our fitness, our weights, our physical bodies. And that was Fit for the King. I mean, the title, I was definitely drawn by that. And then when I read the description, I was like, this is perfect. This is going to, tell me what the Bible says, or God says, about taking care of ourselves. So that's, I came to the conference. I don't know what to expect, really. I was just more there, just kind of like, let's see if this is it. And it definitely was. After hearing you and Joe talk about it, and then I immediately bought the book and started reading the book right away. And then I was like, well, okay, I want more. Like I really knew I couldn't do it on my own. So I was very happy. Like at the conference, you also talked about the online challenge that was coming up. So I could not wait for that to get started. I think I was like one of the first people to sign up. I'm like, come on, let's get going. And the challenge was great. The online challenge, it was fun. It was great to hear where other people were at with this and what they thought, and also just to the inspiration, the quotes that we got every day, and just everything that we had to read in the challenge. It was really motivational. So I did quite well on it. So then I heard about the workshop opportunity during the online challenge, and that was really, it got me excited, because I am definitely a person who is energized and inspired by the physical, like meeting with people, being in presence of people that are of like mind and doing the same thing. So I went, it was the summer time, and so it was a perfect time to be doing it, and learned a lot. There was a lot of information. A lot of it I kind of knew, as far as like, how to, nutritional kind of stuff, but it was the breaking down of the bad thoughts or the not so great thoughts, and seeing the influence of the secular world on how I perceived myself, and learning how God perceived me. And that really motivated me to take this seriously and to really engage in it and be a participant. I was inspired by it and felt that this is like your mission. I agreed with it. Like, more people need to hear about this. It isn't something we talk about in the churches, and definitely not from the pulpit. And I think people kind of take it as a very personal thing, and so talking about it is kind of, can be sensitive. But this, really, I just felt like people needed to hear it, and they need to understand that it isn't just about the physical in the sense of like looking good, or that kind of thing, but it's about, for me, doing it for God. It's going to help me do whatever God calls me to do. And it just also made me feel good about myself. So I was like, who wouldn't want to hear about that? So I definitely wanted to help spread the message and bring the workshop to my church. I don't know really which came first, the spiritual change or the physical change. Like I said before, I had reached a point where I was just resigned to the fact that I was just going to be at this weight, or overweight, which I was uncomfortable with, and that really was highlighted on a missions trip I went to in Greece. And even though it was not a physically laborious trip, there was a day where we did a lot of walking, and it's Athens, Greece, so there's a lot of old world walkways and that kind of, it's mostly cobblestone, and so it's not smooth, it's up and down and all that, and then a lot of hills as well. And we were to a point where I reached a point where I was done. My back was killing me, my feet were killing me, and yet we had more to do. We were going into the Acropolis, which there it's even more kind of, I would say, precarious, because there's a lot more steeper inclines and stairwells. Well, not really stairwells, but stairs. But I was done, and I was extremely embarrassed, and I was. But aside from that, I was also later on thinking, well, what if this was a very physically laborious mission trip? Would I be able to contribute? Would I be able to continue on? Would I be able to be a part of it? And so that was really, that happened before I heard about the Inspire conference. So that got me to the point where I was just done. I was just like, what can I do? And that's when I started to pray to God about it. And really feeling that he answered my prayer with making me know about, or bringing to light to me the Fit for the King. It really became about serving him. And that is my why. Like, I'd been searching for inspiration, and Fit for the King was a big part of that. Not only the program itself, but what I learned in the program, the demolishing first stage of the incorrect concepts, and learning how God perceives us, and that just inspired me even more to really make this work. And so in following the things that I learned in Fit for the King, I've had some physical benefit. I've lost quite a bit of weight so far, but it's just beginning, I feel. But it's really not just about that. Yes, I'm feeling physically better, I'm feeling physically stronger, which inspires me even more to know that I'm honoring God by now taking care of the body he gave me, and being able to serve him then to the best of my abilities. My mom and I have kind of a tenuous relationship as far as my weight is concerned, but now she's getting older, and the weight is coming on and not going off as easily as it used to. And I don't know exactly their reason for coming. I kind of thought maybe just to support me at first, because I think my mom at one point said that she'll come to the first one and see how it goes. But in weeks later, in talking to her, and this she didn't share with me, we were just talking, and then she had told me that she cut out sugar. I didn't think she'd do that. She likes her sweet. She's a baker. She's a cook. So. But to hear that and the wonderful physical results she's had, she's off all of her medication. Even her arthritis medication, stuff like that. So that was thrilling to me, that she maybe perhaps started in just supporting me, but actually honestly listened and took in what you guys were talking about and giving it a try, and the results she's had. So yes, that was very, very special to me. I'm glad that she did come, even if it was just to support me at first. So yeah.
Great.